NWA Championship Wrestling 84. I'm Gordon Solie, your host. During the next hour, we've got a lot of action upcoming, but what you saw just then is the beginning of a war that has broken out between Dory Funk Jr. and Dutch Mantell. With me today, of course, Buddy Colt, and a lot of action happening tonight in Key West.
That's right, there really is. So for all of you wrestling fans down the Florida Keys, remember, tonight in Key West, there is going to be a Conch State Wrestling Tournament to name a Conch State Wrestling Champion. So also, next week in Sarasota on November 10th, you will be seeing in Robarts Arena, Jesse Barr will be going up against superstar Billy Graham, and a former world champion, Bob Backlund, will be going up against Scott McGhee.
Should be a great night of wrestling competition at Robarts Arena. With me right now is the NWA World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, Ric Flair. Alongside of him, the Florida Heavyweight Champion, Jesse Barr.
You know, I might add, Gordon, it's always a great honor for me to walk out here, as I'm sure it's a tremendous honor and a tremendous feeling that these fans have for me through admiration, respect, and let's face it, just general knowledge that the National Wrestling Alliance World Heavyweight Champion is the most qualified athlete in the world today to speak on any subject. Today, through association, it gives me a great deal of pleasure to tell everyone right here that Ric Flair has a newfound interest in the state of Florida. Very, very rarely in life that an athlete with the qualifications and the ability that Ric Flair has passed through the great sport of professional wrestling. In Jesse Barr, you're looking at the closest thing to an equal I've ever had in my entire life. The new Florida heavyweight champion, a great amateur wrestler, a great professional wrestler, a ladies' man personified deluxe. And with a great deal of pleasure and with a great deal of honor that I stand here with him and tell all the wrestling fans out here, and you listen up real close, when the name Jesse Barr appears on a program, appears on a marquee arena, you take time out of your schedule to make sure you're sitting ringside, because you're going to have an opportunity to see professional wrestling and professional athletics at its best. Jesse, it's an honor that I stand here with you. And all you folks out there, gear up! Because when Jesse Barr and Ric Flair in town, you know something heavy is going to come down. Tell him, Jess.
Oh, yeah. You know, everybody asked me last night about Dory Funk. Well, you know, he's been hanging on my coattail, slowing me down a little bit for the past few weeks. You know, I've been teaching him stuff in the dressing room, giving him, teaching him a few takedowns and a few qualifications, but I'm tired of having somebody slow me down. Didn't you tell me he was...
Well, I'll tell you what, Dory Funk Jr., a great athlete, a great champion, took you and tried to convince everybody out there that he was teaching you the ropes of wrestling. Jesse Barr has never needed a teacher. He's never needed a coach. God-given ability and the love of the great sport of wrestling has taken him where he is now. Through association, he will run the state of Florida and run the wrestling here the way he sees fit. You gear up for it. You get ready for it. Jesse Barr and Ric Flair are like diamonds. Woo! We're forever. You understand that?
Dig it.
Get ready for it.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Well, what a turn of events here. Jesse Barr coldly and calculatingly turning aside Dory Funk Jr. Perhaps this will explain something that has occurred recently. Let's go now to a match between Jesse Barr and Scott McGhee, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Here you see it, Jesse Barr moving rather effectively at this particular moment against Scott McGhee. Scott McGhee powers out. Referee, of course, watching Barr. Barr in the red trunks to the blue piping. High knee lift by Barr that puts Scott McGhee back to the canvas once again. Barr rolling forward, and once again, Scott McGhee powers out before the count. Now, you talk about... tremendous athletes. You've got it in these two men. Scott McGhee, of course, from Scotland. Jesse Barr, who was slated that people felt, good move by Barr as he caught him. And now look at here. A full Boston crab applied by Jesse Barr, but Scott McGhee is not conceding, and that's the kind of breed of proud young lions that we have in professional wrestling today under the sanction of the NWA. And boy, I'll tell you, we talk about great athletes. We've got them here. Look at Scott McGhee just withstanding tremendous pain and reverses that situation. Almost had Barr into a pinning situation. You see over in the far corner there was Dory Funk Jr. You saw him in the far corner of the screen as these two continue to battle in the ring. There you see Dory Funk Jr. at ringside and very intent. You can see his motions. He's very concerned about. Now he ties up Scott McGhee. Watch Barr, the calculating opportunist that he is, drives that knee into the small of the back, and here it is Dory Funk Jr. Of course, that's an automatic disqualification. And Dory Funk Jr. now putting the cowboy boots to Scott McGhee outside the ring. But now watch carefully. Scott McGhee goes back into the ring, and the referee is indicating a disqualification here, but the battle goes on. No question about this. But now watch. Enter one, Dutch Mantell. And suddenly, I think, and there you see it. Funk again, as clever as he has started to look like he was moving away from the picture, from the situation. Suddenly charging Dutch Mantell, catching him as Mantell is trying to get back into the ring. Again, Mantell tries to get in, and again, Dory Funk Jr. cut him off real fast. This time, Mantell rolls into the ring. And brother, you talk about somebody who can take it and dish it out as well. It is indeed these two men. We've got a barroom brawl going here, and Dutch Mantell ripping and tearing at anything he can get his hands on. And so it is Dory Funk Jr., 4.5 years world heavyweight champion, finding himself, and as he starts to come up again, Mantell trying to get that shirt off, charged in on top of him, and pounding away at the head of one Dory Funk Jr. Mantell, obviously, by seeing this, has a tremendous sense of fair play, a great sense of justice. And Dory Funk Jr. now a dazed, staggered man. Full body slam. And again, Dutch Mantell crashing into the chest of Dory Funk Jr. And Funk trying to get up, and Dutch Mantell ripping and tearing away at him. And Funk, I'm sure, beginning to feel somewhat humiliated here. The referee. Now watch Funk, however. Let's not sell this man short. You don't become world heavyweight champion and keep that title for 4.5 years. Eating milk toast every day. You have to be one heck of a man, and that's exactly what he is. You can see now Funk has been lacerated after those repeated blows to the head by Dutch Mantell, and Mantell right back after him again. And Funk back to the basics, a double leg dive that takes a barroom brawl or not, and now Funk retaliating in kind against Dutch Mantell. A real Pier 6er going between these two right now. And now Mr. Funk is about to lose his trousers. That is Funk beats a rather hasty retreat. No, he does not beat a hasty retreat. Watch. As he's coming back into this, catches Dutch Mantell right across that abdominal wall with the edge of that chair. And watch Funk now as he brings that chair up high. Mantell ducks to one side, catches him with a solid right hand. It's Mantell now fighting fire with fire, and Funk driven back to the canvas once again. And so Dutch Mantell, a veritable firebrand, no question about it. And Mantell has the former world heavyweight champion thrown on the canvas, and it is Funk in a lot of trouble here. Mantell leaving the ring area at this time, feeling in his own mind, I guess. And now watch Jesse Barr moves in. Funk collapses, and watch Barr. Watch Barr. You talk about a man who is a total, complete opportunist. There he is. He shakes his hands in disgust and leaves the scene. All I can say is that, obviously, as I said at the beginning of the program, war has certainly broken out between Dutch Mantell and Dory Funk Jr. And Jesse Barr is as cold and as calculating an athlete as I've ever known. We'll be back in a moment. One of the finest tag team combinations in the country today. I'm referring, of course, to Mark and Jay Youngblood, two great competitors of Apache heritage. And I might just say, gentlemen, and Jay, particularly to you, that we of Championship Wrestling have ourselves a bit of a predicament because recently you were a very able substitute, as we're going to find out, in a World Championship match. However, we apparently did not make it clear enough to the referee that it was a non-title match because of the substitution consequently, the NWA is looking at us and scrutinizing us rather heavily. But, Mark, you must be terribly proud of what Jay was able to accomplish.
That's right, Gordon. You know, first of all, I'd like to say it's a great pleasure being here in the Florida area. But, you know, last night was the biggest time and the biggest spectacular thing in my life, coming here to Florida and actually seeing my brother beat the world champion, Ric Flair, for the NWA championship. You know, like they said, the match was not supposed to be, it was supposed to be a substitute match. Therefore, the title was not on the line. But Jay went in there and beat the man 1, 2, 3, and the people in the Florida area get to see this.
Well, I'll tell you what, Gordon, you know, like Mark said, it's always a pleasure to come here and talk to you and the people of Championship Wrestling. But as you know, Florida Championship Wrestling is, like you said, being looked into by the NWA, because when I stepped in the ring against the world champion, they had failed to tell me and to tell the people that it was not a title match because of the substitution. But Gordon, I'm going to tell you what, just as sure as I'm standing here, Ric Flair, if you can hear me, and the folks that are looking at me right now, I've beaten you before, Flair. You know, I've always been as a world champion, as a world tag team champion on 5 different occasions. You know, Flair, I've also wrestled you along with another partner of yours, and I've beat you. Right. 1, 2, 3, right in the middle. And I've also proven that I can beat you in single matches. And that's what I'm looking forward to right now, Flair. I don't know what's going to happen with the NWA and Championship Wrestling of Florida. But I'm going to guarantee you one thing. Flair, I'll beat you again.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Mark and Jay Youngblood, I might just point out the NWA has ordered us at this time to show you the closing moments of this match between Jay Youngblood and Ric Flair, the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. However, the title was not on the line as it was assumed by Mr. Youngblood and the people who are watching. So let's go to the closing moments of that match at this time. And here it is, Mr. Flair in using some of Youngblood's own tactics against him. A good chop into the throat, and now it's Flair with a spinning toe hold, but Youngblood breaks it up. And Flair again ties up that leg, but watch Youngblood utilizing that, and notice the way he chain wrestles into a pinning combination. Flair, the world champion, able to come out of it. And now it is Youngblood exchanging shots with the world champion Ric Flair. Flair trying to set him, and look at the block by Youngblood. Flair tried to set him for a vertical souffle, beautifully blocked by Youngblood. Then Youngblood was able to counter that with his own souffle. And so Flair is the one who had the tremendous percussion along those 26 vertebrae in the spinal column. All right, Youngblood catches one right in the pit of the stomach as he moves in against Flair. You cannot sell this man Ric Flair short. He is doubled up. And look at this now. Good block, and then Youngblood reverses once again on Ric Flair. The Youngblood, that adrenaline really flowing now, appears to be very much in command of the situation. Referee Bill Alfonso watching carefully. Youngblood, and that appeared to be the inside of the hand, that open-handed chop, another open-handed chop. Flair in trouble here, and it is Flair up and over on that top rope, almost all the way over. And again, it is Flair catching Youngblood right on the belt line coming in. And Flair coming to his feet somewhat groggy. Moves in on, but as I say, of course, this man is the champion. Good counter again by Youngblood, and Youngblood catches him 2 tomahawk chops into the throat. It's Youngblood, duck under, go behind, a waist cinch. Flair hooking onto those ropes, but Youngblood rips him free and almost scores the pinfall. Excellent counter wrestling on the part of both men. Both men going to the absolute limit in physical endurance and stamina. Now watch Flair. As Youngblood has been dazed and staggered, brought to the canvas. Now Youngblood back on his feet. Flair suddenly in dire jeopardy here as Youngblood catches him on that top rope, hurtling halfway across the ring. Flair taking a lot of percussion now to the side of the hip, and again a chop into the head. And now Youngblood moves into that Apache dance, catches him with another tomahawk chop to the top of the head. It's Flair. reeling against those ropes now. Irish whip by Youngblood. Beautiful drop toe hold by Jay Youngblood has the world heavyweight champion back. And now that Indian deathlock. And look at the bridge back. And you can hear Flair. He is beginning to scream in pain. He is beginning to scream in pain as Youngblood is keeping total pressure on that leg and on the knee. And the referee, Bill Alfonso, I'll tell you something else about Ric Flair. He knows what that championship means. He's had the taste of that money, and he is not about to concede, and he makes the trigger swing ropes, and that forces the break once again. And that leg has got to be giving him trouble. Youngblood moves in confidently. It is Youngblood now who can, smell that sweet scent of victory. And it is Flair again, this time taking a desperate measure, a cheap shot, if you will, against Youngblood. He misses with a chop. It's Youngblood, cross-body block. And a near fall for Jay Youngblood as Flair powers out just before the count. Now this match is, we're deep into the match, and the time is beginning to take its toll. Look at this. Beautiful move. Once again, almost had him. The chop, and now the exchange chop aside headlock. Coming off the ropes now. And from a guillotine to a lateral guillotine, and the champion's shoulders are down. A count of three. A count of three, and so Jay Youngblood did indeed score a victory.
Don't you tell these people nothing. You got no right. The NWA's got no right. The wrestling performance got no right. You know what a lawsuit is? Yes. You're not supposed to play on this show. Who are you ribbon, Solie? You got money. You want it in my pocket. You know what a lawyer is? You tell CWF and you smart guys, nobody plays that tape of me and Youngblood. It's going to cost you a ton of dough, brother. You keep your mouth shut out there.
We were told by the NWA in deference to what happened to play it, and that's what we've done. And we're facing lawsuits. I guess we're facing lawsuits. We'll be back. Two fantastic nights of wrestling upcoming in this viewing area. Championship wrestling will be held tomorrow night here in Orlando at the Eddie Graham Sports Stadium. Match time is 8 p.m. We'll get to those matches in just a moment. We'd also like to remind you the championship wrestling will be held this coming Thursday night, November 8th in Leesburg at the Leesburg High School Gymnasium. Some of the great competitors that you will see there include Jesse Barr against Scott McGhee. It'll be Khrushchev and Neidhart against Pistol Pez Whatley, the one-man gang, and a host of others, including Dory Funk Jr. against Dutch Mantell. Now then, tomorrow night in Orlando at the Eddie Graham Sports Stadium, what a great night of competition as the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, returns along with Dutch Mantell to take on Crusher Khrushchev and Big Jim Neidhart. Jesse Barr goes up against Scott McGhee in a tape fist match. It'll be Dory Funk Jr. against Mike Graham. The loser gets tarred and feathered. Mark and Jay Youngblood take on the Purple Haze and Kevin Sullivan. Bob Backlund goes up against Kendo Nagasaki. There will be two other matches. Six-man tag team action coming up right now. Sweet Brown Sugar, Larry Hamilton, and Pistol Pez Whatley going up against Steve Brinson, Big Bob Owens, and the Raider, who I understand is a martial arts expert. So we should have an interesting mixture of matches in this particular situation.
Well, there you see Pez Whatley with a waist-lift takedown on Big Bob Owen, and Bob Owen outweighing Pez Whatley by quite a few pounds. And there's this Pez Whatley reaching over, making a very fast tag out to his partner, Larry Hamilton, coming in.
Tag is made. Steve Brinson charging in. Larry Hamilton with a quick wing-over takedown. And Hamilton cinches down on that. Brinson, a big, powerful youngster, and is doubly dangerous in the ring. I've had an opportunity to watch him wrestle throughout several sections of the country, and he's a tough individual. He's got Sweet Brown Sugar to contend with now.
Well, this is the first time we've had Sweet Brown Sugar here in Florida for quite some time, and this is a very exciting wrestler to watch. Another fast tag going out to Pez Whatley, coming back in on that same left arm, just putting that pressure right there. It's about time for Brinson to tag out. He tags into the Red Raider. The Red Raider coming in. Let's see if he can fare any better against Pez Whatley. Test Solie with a headlock takedown and just putting that pressure on. Looks like they're trying to make short work of this tag team combination. And in comes Larry Hamilton, another great wrestler who went to college here in Tampa University. Here he is, a left arm bar. Just has the bar. They stay right on that same hold. The wing over takedown and just putting that pressure on. They're not giving their opponents any chance at all.
Steve Brinson moves in now, and it's Larry Hamilton. Swinging around that arm and punishing him. Brinson finally gets Hamilton back in their own corner. And Big Bob Owens and Brinson both pounding away on Hamilton. He's being held by the Raider. Hamilton's going to have to battle his way out. He caught Brinson and staggered him. Somersaults over, makes the tag with Pistol Pez Whatley. Whatley pounding away at Steve Brinson. And Brinson in trouble now. Whatley closing in on him once again. Irish whip off the ropes. High backdrop by Pistol Pez Whatley. Makes the tag with Sweet Brown Sugar. Sugar. Wow! Sugar exploded with one of those big drop kicks. Another one by Sweet Brown Sugar. A third drop kick by Sweet Brown Sugar. And he has decimated this entire team. 3 drop kicks in a row. And now Sweet Brown Sugar off that second rope catches Steve Brinson. Boy, you talk about a powerful tag team combination. You got it right there. In Pistol Pez Whatley, Larry Hamilton, and now the addition of
Cooking, y'all. We ain't not for cooking, y'all. Sweet Brown Sugar.
Welcome back, sir.
People of the state of Florida, it's a pleasure for me to be back. First of all, I want to say, you got people walking around here carrying other people's flags. Well, let me tell everybody, I don't know about you, but I'm a apple pie and hot dog man myself. And I'm pretty darn proud to be a U.S. citizen, the greatest country in the world. Tying people up, hanging people, cutting people's hair. That stuff went out a long time ago. This is 1984, knocking 85 in a door. And fans, when I get in this area, full blast, you can bet your sweet bottom dollar I'm going to make all these people walk like a black cat do by night.
Right there. Very nice. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll be back with more action in just a moment. Had high hopes and aspirations, and deservedly so. They're a sensational tag team combination. They found those hopes and aspirations dashed on the rocks when they met the Cuban connection, Big Jim Neidhart and Crusher Khrushchev, as evidenced by this film right now. Has been made deep into this match now between the fabulous Fantastics and the Cuban connection, Big Jim Neidhart and Crusher Khrushchev, and the Fantastic now beginning to take his measure on this combination. But this combination has been indeed awesome throughout the entire match, and it has been the Fantastic using their great speed, their strength, their skills, and their abilities, but thus far, the Cuban connection, and there you see the Saint on the far side watching as Neidhart catches the Fantastic in the small of the back. It's Crusher Khrushchev bringing him up now. A gut wrench into a backbreaker, and watch Neidhart come down across him, straight across the throat. And it's the second Fantastic moving in there, giving it everything he's got. But this Russian connection or the Cuban connection just absolutely overpowering. Prodigious strength, they're a powerful combination, and have been running roughshod over every single tag team combination that's come along. The Fantastic, of course, coming to Florida with a great look at this. Down across the knee, and of course, they're taking all that pressure in the abdominal wall. These Fantastics came here with a great reputation, but that reputation is surely being marred here tonight by this combination of Crusher Khrushchev and Big Jim Neidhart. Referee Bill Alfonso down, holding the count. He gets the 3 count, and this awesome combination continues to roll on like a steamroller. And there you see the Saint moving in, the Cuban connection. Well, speaking of awesome, we're going to take a look at a fellow right now who's indeed awesome. He helped train the wrestlers for the Olympic meet this year. He is a former world champion. I'm referring, of course, to Bob Backlund. Let's take a look at Bob Backlund in action, facing Gary Royal. And Backlund in the orange trunks is an absolute bear about conditioning. He's perhaps one of the most greatly conditioned athletes I've ever known. And Backlund wastes no time. Look at this tremendous lift. as he brings this man up above his head and deposits him on the top turnbuckle. This man, Backlund, is in training constantly. If you could train 24 hours a day, he would be doing it. I'd say a former world champion, great competitor, NAIA collegiate champion, all-around athlete, has his man trapped, hooks that arm, cross faces at the same time, and this man very quickly, Gary Royal, conceding to Backlund, and it is all over. Bob Backlund, the victor. Two great nights of wrestling upcoming in this viewing area. First of all, championship wrestling will be held tomorrow night in Orlando at the Eddie Graham Sports Stadium. This coming Thursday night, championship wrestling will be held in Leesburg at the Leesburg High School Gymnasium. Jesse Barr defends the Florida title against the challenge of Scott McGhee. It'll be Crusher Khrushchev against Big Jim Neidhart against Pistol Pez Whatley and the one-man gang. There will be a host of other great matches on Thursday night. Now then, tomorrow night in Orlando at the Eddie Graham Sports Stadium, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes and Dutch Mantell will team to take on Crusher Khrushchev and Big Jim Neidhart. It'll be Jesse Barr against Scott McGhee in a tape fist match. In a loser to be tarred and feathered, Dory Funk Jr. takes on Mike Graham. The Youngblood brothers, Mark and Jay Youngblood, face the Purple Haze and Kevin Sullivan. It'll be Bob Backlund against Kendo Nagasaki. There will be two other matches. I want to talk to Scott McGhee because you're really out of your element in this one.
That's right, Gordon. I've never had a tape fist match before, but believe me, I've had plenty of fights, and I'm really looking forward to it. All I'm going to do is put some tape around these fists, and it's in the rules. I get to punch Jesse Barr. I get to punch him as much as I like. I should say I'm looking forward to it. It's about time I get a match like this, and I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in shape.
Thank you so very much, Scotty McGhee. In a moment, we're going to be hearing from the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, then Dory Funk Jr., then Big Jim Neidhart in his entourage, and finally the Florida heavyweight champion, Jesse Barr.
It's Dusty Rhodes, Orlando, Florida. You know, I've been on my taking care of business tour. Everybody got to understand Dusty Rhodes is home when he's home. Home is Orlando, Florida. Let me tell you something now. No matter who it is, if it's the Russians, I mean, I don't care who it is, baby. This is my house. This is the house that Rhodes built. This is the house that Rhodes built. Orlando, get ready for the MACW coming home and taking care of business unit tour 1984. Woo, it's going to be dynamite.
Sunday night in Orlando, Mike Graham, Chicken Mike Graham, I should say, you'll finally get what you deserve. This is a tarred and feathered match, and I guarantee you, you'll get tarred and feathered, because when Dory Funk gets through with you, you're going to look like a chicken, just the chicken that you are. And I'm going to tell you something, Dutch Mantell, you get in the way, you'll get tarred and feathered too. And that ain't no joke, brother. I guarantee you, when Dory Funk gets through with anybody...
Can you believe this, Khrushchev? Dutch Mantell and that overgrown, overweight, beached white whale, the great white hope, they're going to take on us. Can you believe that, Crusher?
I think what they should be watching is what we did to the gang the other day. We cut his hair. We just about to do the same thing right here, huh?
Last week in Orlando, I was defending my title like the true champion that I am, and who come out to the ring? Who stuck their big nose in my way? Scotty McGhee. Now this week, we're going to have our fifth tape. We're going to go out there, we're going to take the rule book and throw it out the window. So that means I can hurt you, and hurt you bad. After that match, you're going to be finished, once and for all.
I want to take a moment right now to talk to Mike Graham. Mike, I know that Orlando's a second home to you.
No, Gordon, that's exactly right. But in my 13 years of wrestling professionally, there's never been anything that disgusts me more than a little parasite like this guy running around hiring athletes to try to do things that he could never do. Dory Funk Jr. in no means has ever been a chicken, and me either. But I got news for you, little man. The only way you'll ever tar and feather me is if I'm knocked out. I don't care if I lose. You will not tar and feather me.
definitive statement, obviously. Dutch Mantell, you and Dusty Rhodes.
Let me say one thing. Me and Dusty Rhodes have been friends a long time. Now I'm going to make my debut in Orlando, Florida against two guys I think have been running their mouth around here for a long time. Now I'm going to roll in there, and guys, every time you talk, you make me red hot. And let's not forget, and me and old Dusty have been friends a long time, and I will not hesitate to back up and use a bullwhip right on you, brother, because I stand for what everything this country is good for. You want to take the milk and honey out of it and run off? Well, you do that, but I'm going to be there. You might have boycotted the Olympics.
We'll see you. It'll be Sunday night in Orlando. Kevin Sullivan and the Purple Haze were scheduled to wrestle here today on Championship Wrestling, but they have been momentarily barred by the NWA after their unnecessary roughness with Angelo Mosca Jr., so they will not be seen today. Gomez very quickly made it to those ring ropes, and that forced the break, but Barr was very much in control of the situation, buddy.
Well, Jesse Barr, nice fireman's carry takedown. Jesse Barr is one of those wrestlers that is cold, ruthless, and cunning. It's been obvious to me lately that he will put a knife into the ribs of his friends and turn and twist it, anything to further his own wrestling career, such as people have seen with his regards to Dory Funk, who he did have a close alignment with. Now it seems like he has dropped Funk for Ric Flair. Anything to further his own career. Now, here's Paul Gomez. Jesse Barr coming back with his big hard forearm up against the head, like I said. Jesse Barr, the Florida heavyweight wrestling champion. Colt, look at this big soup play there. And that knocks it all out, Paul Gomez. Jesse Barr, very powerful, very strong, very capable wrestler.
Brother. Perfectly executed again. Belly to belly. Now he's got him up for that shoulder breaker. And hooking that leg away from the ring ropes, so Gomez had no opportunity to try and get to the ring ropes. So using the shoulder breaker, Jesse Barr emerges the victor. I want to take a couple of moments right now to talk to an athlete who's got some remarkable credentials. I'm referring, of course, to Jim Neidhart. Went, of course, to college in UCLA. Mr. Neidhart, you were an all-around athlete all of your life in high school and in college as well. You were, at age 18, rated as the finest shot putter in the world.
Number one shot putter in the world at 18 years old.
All right. You also, of course, competed against the USSR both in 1973 and 1975. You went on, of course, to play professional football with the Dallas Cowboys and on to the Oakland Raiders. So you have...
the Oakland Raiders, the winningest football team of all time.
Well, there's certainly no question about that. In fact, matters, we have some pictures that I think might be of interest right now. There, of course, in your football heyday when you were certainly collegiately and professionally just an outstanding, very aggressive competitor. It was in 1973 that you made your first trip to Russia, was it not?
Yes, I represented the United States track and field team. We went over to Odessa, Russia. We beat the Russians. These are the Polacks right here. These are very fine gentlemen here. We went 1-2 and we beat them here also. They have a lot of insight, a lot of technology, which the United States athletes haven't got a chance of getting. Because the AAU and the United States system over here suppresses the U.S. athletes so much.
All right, now here is another picture. This is once again in Russia, and this was in 1975. Is that true?
Yes, this is when I had beat the Russians. I had over there in 75, representing the U.S., which the AAU has never really helped me at all. They have suppressed me. They've kept me back. The Russian system, they feed their athletes. They take care of them. They subsidize them. They make sure that they're going to be the best. And let me tell you something. If the Russian athletes, this is me right here with my good friend, Comrade Zurov over here on the left. I got some very valuable information from him.
Well, now,
on a shot put, which enabled me to become one of the best senior throwers in the United States pre-Montreal in 76.
Well, Apparently, it was during these visits to Russia then that you began to develop quite an affinity, apparently, for the Russian athletes.
Well, the Russian system, they know how to treat an athlete. They take care of him. They subsidize him. They teach him the right methods in sports medicine, something which you cannot get in the United States through the AAU. The United States has done nothing for their athletes over here. And listen, whether you like it or not, in 1984, in the Olympic Games over in Los Angeles, the Soviet Union was over there in Los Angeles. There would be a big disappointment and a lot of disappointed U.S. athletes.
I don't like your attitude, my dog. You've got a bad attitude. You want to live in this country, but you want to hang out with that Russian, and you want to be a communist. Why don't you go over there and be one?
Let me tell you something, Dutch Mantel. You got kind of a big mouth, don't you, chump?
Yeah, I got a big mouth. You got kind of a big mouth. What would you know about amateur sports, huh? What would you know?
Gentlemen.
Your show. I don't mean to come in here, but you know a guy that'll come over here and run his mouth. He's got a big mouth, and he'll talk about this country, and he wants to milk and honey, but he'll talk about it that way. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I come to Florida for a reason, but that reason does not include listening to some loudmouth, communist-loving jerk over here run his mouth about this country, because when he's talking about this country, I figure he's talking right to me. Let me tell you where I'm coming from, Gordon. Several years ago, the United States had a conflict in Southeast Asia, South Vietnam. And when I was drafted into the United States Army, I knew that's where I was going. And for 11 months and 27 days, I fought and I cried for my life, because I laid in the jungles of Vietnam with the 25th Infantry Division, fighting for this country. And I saw many American boy drop dead that never came back. And they were my friends. 52,000 American lives lost. And I thank God that I'm able to come back and breathe God's green air and walk this earth. But when a guy like this comes over and runs his mouth, baby, he's talking right to me. And Neidhart, you tell that Russian and you tell that Cuban connection that I'm not afraid of you, brother, because I left fear a long time ago in the jungles of South Vietnam, where I fought for my life. And they couldn't kill me there, and they can't hurt me here. So, boys, I'll be ready the next time around. Thank you, Gordon. I don't want to interrupt the show, but I had something to say. Somebody need to shut that jerk up.
All I can say is that I'm damn proud of Dutch Mantel. He'll be back. Two fantastic nights of wrestling upcoming in this viewing area. Championship wrestling will be held tomorrow night here in Orlando at the Eddie Graham Sports Stadium. Match time is 8 p.m. We'll get to those matches in just a moment. We'd also like to remind you that championship wrestling will be held this coming Thursday night, November 8th in Leesburg at the Leesburg High School Gymnasium. Some of the great competitors that you will see there include Jesse Barr against Scott McGhee. It'll be Khrushchev and Neidhart against Pistol Pez Whatley, the one-man gang, and a host of others, including Dory Funk Jr. against Dutch Mantel. Now then, tomorrow night in Orlando at the Eddie Graham Sports Stadium, what a great night of competition as the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, returns along with Dutch Mantel to take on Crusher Khrushchev and Big Jim Neidhart. Jesse Barr goes up against Scott McGhee in a tape fist match. It'll be Dory Funk Jr. against Mike Graham. The loser gets tarred and feathered. Mark and Jay Youngblood take on the Purple Haze and Kevin Sullivan. Bob Backlund goes up against Kendo Nagasaki. There will be two other matches. Mark and Jay Youngblood getting set to move out against Ken Kins and Randy Barber. One fall television time remaining. be quite a match indeed. The Youngbloods, an exceptionally popular tag team combination. That's Mark Youngblood. Alarm drag and twist by Timms, and a reversal by Youngblood. Youngblood down across the arm of Ken Timms.
We know, Gordon, this team of Mark and Jay Youngblood, they're a very exciting team. They have wrestled extensively throughout the United States and throughout the world, and they are always a pleasure to watch. A lot of chain reaction there, a lot of chain wrestling. See, Ken Timms is dropping down. Oh, it looks like Mark Youngblood was ready for them, ready for anything to happen. Coming over the side headlock, going over, making the tag out to his partner, Jay Youngblood, who you saw earlier just had that pinfall on World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair. As quite an accomplishment. Going right back to that side headlock takedown. You see he's got his full body weight on the upper chest of the Hollywood Blonde there. Just hanging on to that side headlock, putting that pressure on. This here is not a submission hold, but it can sure tear your head off. They can really wear you down. Well, Ken Timms was able to reverse that, come over the side headlock on his own.
Timms shot from behind, and that didn't work well for him at all. Ken Timms finding he's going rather rough against Jay and Mark Youngblood. These two are of Apache heritage, and they are making their presence felt here today on NWA Championship Wrestling 84. The tag is made. Randy Barber moves in.
Well, you saw there, Jay Youngblood thinking very quickly, moved out of the way. Randy Barber just hurting himself. He come down and missed that big flying elbow. These Youngblood brothers are very exciting to watch. A lot of charisma. You can tell they're a favorite of the wrestling fans. Ken Timms trying to sneak in. The referee catching him, warning him to go back out. Another fast tag made to his partner.
Barber taking some punishment, and so is Ken Timms as Mark Youngblood moves back into the ring. Youngblood now. Bottom wrist lock on Randy Barber, and so Barber's got a lot of problems here. Moving that into a hammerlock as well. Referee Bill Alfonso continually moving around, checking, wants to see if Barber wants to concede. Timms. And so Timms missed an opportunity to tag. Charging into the ring, the referee sending him back. Meanwhile, the Youngbloods have tagged up.
We can tell that the Youngblood brothers here are a precision tag team. Very easy to tell that they work and train out on and train together a lot. Constantly together, always making a lot of tags, always getting that fresh man in there. Just hanging on that arm. Looks like Ken Timms there made a mistake. He was trying to reach over, and the Mark Youngblood there was shaking the ropes, causing Ken Timms to fall inside. Referee putting him back out of the ring.
Quickly dispatching him again up against those turnbuckles now. And it is Youngblood ducking away as Barber caught that turnbuckle head on.
Another fast tag, always getting that fresh man in. Following up with the same hold, putting that pressure on that same arm, wearing it down. Very smart thinking on the part of the tag team here.
Special hi and a get well to my good friend Kit Beecher, and it is Youngblood now keeping Barber tied up, and he is so close and yet so far. Could not make the tag as Ken Timms had extended an arm out there to hopefully tag up.
Well, you see Randy Barber there kind of begging for mercy, wanting to ease up. Barber, well, he's putting him back over in his corner. This is where the table could turn against the Youngblood. Ken Timms there holding on to him, taking that tag.
Timms is a very durable competitor and a very dangerous competitor. And Youngblood just found that out as he took a boot right under the rib cage, and Timms right after him again. Timms uncorks a hard right hand. He's got Mark Youngblood staggered. Youngblood fires back, however, and now Ken Timms is on the receiving end.
A lot of chain reaction wrestling here. Big high vertical suplex, and down goes Ken Timms. That takes a lot out of you. He's in a lot of trouble. Oh, he's able to force Youngblood back over in his corner. The referee there trying to break it, trying to restore a little order here.
Double teaming on Youngblood, and that may have served them well here. Barber with a lateral press, but Youngblood powers out before the count.
Well, this here is the first time during the match that the Youngblood team has been in trouble. Youngblood is going to have to get to his corner, tag his partner, get that fresh man in. But, of course, Randy Barber is going to try and make sure that he doesn't get out. He's choking him over that top rope. He had his throat down on that rope. He's putting the pressure down.
Well, of course, competition here is so keen that on any given time or any given night, anybody can be defeated. There's no question in my mind about that. And the Youngbloods now beginning to dominate the situation once again. Drop kick by Mark Youngblood. Barber powers out before the count. Another chop, and it is Youngblood. Catching Barber, the tag is made. Ken Timms moves in. Ken Timms charges, and the charge. High backdrop. Timms coming to his feet, caught with a chop to the back of the head. Another one to the back of the head. Timms in trouble here. Off the rope. Chop into the chest. The tag is made. Jay Youngblood moves in. Mark Youngblood. An Indian whip off the ropes, and it is Jay Youngblood. The Apache dance, a chop right squarely in the middle of the head. Brings him up once again. Full body slam. Tag is made. Mark Youngblood over that top rope. And as Randy Barber tried to cut him off at the pass, it was Jay Youngblood handling that situation. And so the Youngbloods score an impressive win here on NWA Championship Wrestling 84. That's just about all the time we have. May I just say this in regards to Dutch Mantell, and he apologized to me for his comments and for what for breaking into that conversation with Jim I. Neidhart. Dutch, as far as I'm concerned, my friend, you need not apologize. You certainly had a perfect right to express your opinion as an American, and I can't find fault with it, buddy.
Well, I agree with Dutch Mantell completely. If you don't like this country, Jim Neidhart, pack up your bags and go to Russia, Cuba, or anywhere you like.
That's all the time we do have for this week. We hope that you'll join us next week at the same time. On behalf of Buddy Colt, this would be Gordon Solie saying so long from the United States.